When my dad was in hospice, I called my sister every day begging her to visit. She said I'm just not good with sad stuff. After he passed, she showed up at the funeral with a speech about their unbreakable bond. Everyone cried. I couldn't even look at her. At the repast, she handed me a list of things she wanted from his house, including the guitar he taught me to play. He always meant for this to be mine, she said. I locked the guitar in my closet that night. She still texts me every Christmas asking for it. When Dad got the diagnosis, everything changed. Pancreatic cancer. Late stage. The doctor said we might have a few months if we were lucky. We weren't. From the moment I found out, I dropped everything. I moved into his house in Dayton, Ohio, started working remotely, and handled all his appointments. I managed the meds, the visits, the hospice nurses. I cooked, cleaned, kept track of the bills, and sat with him when the pain hit so bad he couldn't form words. I watched a man who used to fix his own car engines shrink into a ghost of himself. I called my sister Lila the day he got admitted to hospice care. She lived only 2 hours away in Columbus. Close enough? You need to come, I told her. He's asking for you. I just can't handle that kind of stuff, she said, like she was saying no to a movie night. I want to remember him how he was. I swallowed my anger. He's still here, Lila. I'll come when it's closer to the end. I wish I could say I was surprised. But that was Lila. Always allergic to hard stuff. Always disappearing when things got messy. Dad used to joke that if the house caught fire, she'd be the one outside asking someone else to go back in for her purse. I called her again a few days later. Dad had a bad night. He thought he saw our mom, who died years ago. He kept reaching out into the air like he was trying to hold her hand. He cried. I hadn't seen him cry since Mom's funeral. He's slipping? I told Lila, trying to keep my voice steady. She sighed. I really don't think I can do the whole deathbed thing. I lost it. This isn't about you. He's your father. She hung up on me. I kept calling anyway, once a day. Sometimes I'd leave voicemails. Sometimes I wouldn't even say anything, just held the phone up so she could hear his breathing, how rough it had gotten. She never called back. He died 3 weeks later. I was holding his hand. The room was quiet except for the soft beeping of a machine tracking a heart that was fading second by second. I watched his chest rise and fall, slower and slower, until it didn't anymore. I stayed with him for an hour after. I played the guitar for him one last time. It was the same one he taught me on when I was 11. He used to say music was how we connected when words didn't work. Lila showed up at the funeral like some kind of performance artist. Flowing white dress, fake lashes, hair perfectly done. She acted like she just lost her soulmate. She cried loud. She clutched people's hands and said things like, he meant the world to me, and we were so close, you know? She brought a printed speech and read it like she was at the Oscars. Talked about our long talks and how he always supported me. I wanted to stand up and scream. I wanted to shout, you weren't even there. But I didn't. I sat in the front row with my nails digging into my palms, nodding like a good sibling, like someone who still had something left to protect. At the repast, she came over holding a folded piece of paper. I thought it might be something for me. A memory. A kind word. Maybe an apology. It was a list. Typed. Alphabetized. 20 items from Dad's house she wanted. Most were things he didn't even care about, like an old liquor decanter and a clock he never fixed. But there were a few that mattered. His navy ring, his watch, and the guitar. She looked me straight in the eyes and said, he always meant for this to be mine. I stared at her. I didn't say a word. I took the list, folded it back up, and walked away. That night, I locked the guitar in my closet. Haven't taken it out since. But she still wants it. Every December 23rd or 24th, like it's her new holiday tradition, she sends me a message. Thinking of Dad. Hope you're doing okay. Any chance you're ready to part with the guitar? 1 year, she added. It would mean so much to me. Best gift ever. Red heart, I never respond. But every time I see her name pop up, I feel the same fire start in my chest. Then this last Christmas, I saw her post on Facebook. A photo of her and Dad, cropped from a picture that originally had me in it, too. Caption. Missing you every day, Daddy. Thanks for always being my rock. Over 100 likes. People commented you were always so close and he loved you so much. And she heart reacted every single one. That's when I made a plan. Not out of spite. Not out of rage. Out of justice. After I saw that post, something in me changed. I didn't reply to her text that Christmas. But I did take the guitar out of the closet for the first time in a year. I sat with it in my lap in the dark living room, just holding it. I didn't even try to play. My hands shook too much. I looked at it. The faded wood, the worn-down frets, the dent near the bottom where I dropped it once as a kid. I remembered how Dad showed me how to tune it, how he used to sit in that old chair by the window, strumming and humming Johnny Cash. That guitar was his voice in the world. It was the one thing he gave to me that no one else could touch. So when Lila posted that crap on Facebook and people started messaging me saying it's so sweet how close you and your sister were with him, I realized something. She wasn't just lying to herself anymore. She was rewriting the whole damn story. She was taking my place in it. And I wasn't going to let that happen. I didn't respond to her Christmas message. But on New Year's Day, I made a new account on Facebook. Fake name, no profile photo. I joined a local estate sale group. And I posted a picture of the guitar with a caption, selling Dad's old guitar. Lots of history. Only serious offers. I knew she'd see it. She stalked my page all the time, even if we weren't friends anymore. I didn't wait long. 2 hours later, she texted me, WTF? Are you seriously selling Dad's guitar to a stranger? Then call me. Right now. I'm not kidding. I didn't call. I just let her stew in it. Then she emailed me. The subject line, I deserve to be heard. In it, she told me I was being cruel. That grief affects people differently. That just because she didn't show up for hospice didn't mean she didn't love him. She said she had anxiety, and that I always made her feel small growing up. That this guitar meant closure for her. I read it 3 times. I didn't cry. I didn't even feel anything. I just sat there, staring at her words, trying to find even one sentence that sounded like a real apology. There wasn't one. So I made a second post in the estate group, this time with more pictures. A short video clip of Dad playing it from a few years back. My caption, this guitar belonged to my father, a Navy veteran who passed last year. He played this every day. Taught me on it. It means everything to me. I'm not really selling. I just wanted my sister to see what she threw away when she chose to stay gone. Within an hour, my post had over 100 comments. People shared their own stories about family and grief. Some said they cried watching the video. A few said they wished they'd made different choices before their own parents died. And then came a private message. It was from one of Lila's old college friends. We hadn't talked in years, but she remembered me. Her message said, "Hey, just wanted you to know, Lila's been telling people that you wouldn't let her say goodbye to your dad. That you froze her out. She told me you were always the favorite, and she was scared to come because of how you'd act. She's been telling everyone she tried. That was the last thread I needed to pull." Lila wasn't just lying to herself. She was destroying my name to build her own. I had proof. Every voicemail, every text, every message I sent her begging her to come. And now I had the final piece. So I made a decision. I wasn't going to just ignore her anymore. I was going to bury her lies. I started going through my old phone records. I saved everything from those hospice weeks. I don't know why. Maybe part of me always knew this would come back someday. Maybe I just couldn't delete anything connected to Dad. I found 12 voicemails I'd left Lila. 12. Each one time-stamped. Each one filled with my voice cracking as I begged her to visit. Some of them were just me saying, "He's asking for you." Others were longer. One of them, from the night he almost choked, had me crying into the phone. "He's scared, Lila. He needs you. I can't do this alone." She never replied to a single one. I compiled the voicemails and messages into a file. I added screenshots of our texts. I included the email she sent about how I always made her feel small. Then I added one of the last photos I had of Dad, taken the night before he died. He looked thin and pale, but his hand was on the guitar. He'd asked me to lay it next to him so he could feel it one last time. I uploaded the whole thing to Google Drive. I made it public. Then I posted the link in the comments section of her Facebook post, the one where she cropped me out and called Dad her rock. I didn't add a caption. Just the link. It took less than 5 minutes. First came the angry call from her. I didn't answer. She left a voicemail screaming, "How dare you do this to me?" Like I'd leaked state secrets. Like she was the victim. Then her comment section exploded. People started tagging each other. Then tagging me. Then tagging her. One woman, our cousin Megan, wrote, "I'm sorry, but I listened to the voicemails. I can't believe you lied to all of us. This is so low." Another said, "You let him die alone and now you want to play the grieving daughter?" Wow. Lila deleted her post within the hour. But it was too late. The link had already been shared across multiple threads. I didn't even do it. People were spreading it themselves. But here's where it got worse. 2 days later, I got a call from a number I didn't recognize. It was her ex-husband, Ray. We hadn't spoken since their divorce 4 years ago, but he got straight to the point. "Look," he said, "I know it's not my business, but I saw the stuff going around. I thought you should know Lila's trying to get power of attorney over your dad's estate. Retroactively. She wants to challenge the will." I sat there stunned. "What the hell are you talking about?" I said. "She's claiming the version filed wasn't valid," Ray explained. "Said you manipulated your dad when he was dying. She's trying to get access to his bank records. Says you coerced him to leave her out. That was impossible. Dad had a clear will. It wasn't fancy, but it was legal. Signed, notarized, filed. Everything split down the middle. The only reason she didn't get the guitar or the ring was because he gave those to me specifically before he went into hospice. And even that was on paper with a witness. But she didn't care. She wanted the narrative changed. She wanted the world to believe I was the greedy one. Suddenly, it wasn't just about grief anymore. It was about war. And I was done playing nice. After Ray's call, I went straight to the attorney who handled Dad's will. I'd already given him everything at the time, letters from Dad, the video of him explaining the guitar, the notarized documents. But now I needed to make sure none of it could be touched. "She's going to try to drag your father's name through the mud," the lawyer said. "This is about pride, not property." He was right. Lila didn't care about the money. She didn't even care about the guitar. Not really. She cared about how it looked, about how people saw her, about not being the sister who vanished when it counted, about pretending she was the daughter who mattered most. So I gave her what she wanted, kind of. I told my lawyer to write a letter offering mediation. I'd give her 2 items from Dad's personal things just to keep it out of court. She'd get the navy ring and the decanter. But the guitar stayed with me. She said no. She wanted the guitar or nothing. So I let her choose nothing. She filed a formal petition to contest the will. Said Dad wasn't of sound mind when he wrote the itemization. Said I isolated him. Claimed elder abuse. It went to court. For 3 months, I relived every moment of Dad's death. I listened to lawyers twist my caregiving into something selfish. I sat in a courtroom while Lila cried and said I stole her goodbye. But here's where she screwed herself. She underestimated how many people were watching. All those Facebook friends she lied to? Some of them came forward. One of them sent in texts Lila had written, mocking my grief and saying, "Let her play nurse, maybe it'll finally make her feel important." One person even forwarded a group chat she was in where she said, "I'll get the guitar eventually. She's weak. All I have to do is keep the pressure on." It was all submitted into evidence. The judge didn't even take a day to decide. He dismissed her claim, called it deeply manipulative and an attempt to profit off a sibling's pain. I thought that would be the end of it. But it wasn't. Lila lost her job a month later. Turns out someone from her work had seen the online drama and flagged her behavior to HR. They didn't want someone in client relations who could fake a whole grieving daughter act online while plotting to sue her own sibling. Her reputation tanked. People stopped talking to her. Even some of her friends cut her off. Our cousin Megan? Blocked her everywhere. Ray? Took full custody of their kid and moved out of state. And me? I wasn't left untouched. The whole thing made me bitter. Closed off. Angry. For months after, I couldn't even play the guitar. Couldn't look at it without feeling like a war had been fought over something that used to bring peace. One night, after too many drinks, I almost smashed it. I stood there in the garage, holding it over concrete, ready to just end the noise of it once and for all. But I didn't. I sat down and played instead, hands shaking, tears pouring. I played the song Dad used to hum when he didn't want to talk. And I forgave him, not her. Never her, but him. He chose to believe she'd come around. He hoped for a last-minute miracle. He died still waiting on her. That's what broke me most. She texted me this past Christmas again. Same message. Thinking of Dad. Is now a good time for the guitar? I replied. I said I buried him without you. That guitar was the only voice he had left. You never showed up for him. You don't deserve it. She never replied. I think she finally got it. Some things you don't get back. Some things you never earned to begin with. And sometimes revenge isn't loud. Sometimes revenge is just keeping what's yours. And letting the silence speak louder than any song ever could.